Welcome to this live series with me called Young for Your Age. Now, my name is Rachel Tasker and I am a rehab PT and a mindset coach. And today I'm going to be looking at, let me get the title right, how your body talks to you and why most of us have learnt to ignore it. So this isn't a blame and shame. This is a just understanding where we're at, what we're working with and what we're trying to do. So there are times in our lives when we do just ignore and we may not even realize we're ignoring. A big example for me, before I get into it, is breathing, right? A breathing coach. I think of things that exists. Now, I shouldn't laugh because there is some really important stuff about breathing and how it calms our central nervous system, But a lot of the time, I find when I'm talking to clients, we'll have a little laugh about this. I'll be asking them to hold a plank or do any exercise really, and I'll go and breathe out, and they'll laugh and go, "Oh my God, how did you know I was holding my breath?" Now, if I talk about breathing quite often, and I'm not a breathing coach, by the way, people are like, what are you on about? It's just something I do. I don't have to think about it. And some of the things we're going to talk about today are things like that. We just don't give it too much thought. And I want to bring it to you with a smile and a bit of gentle humor about the whole situation. Okay. So my first example of things that we ignore about ourselves that turn out to not be very helpful in the long run is around, hunger and fullness cues and how the diet culture, how diets impact that. Now, there's nothing wrong with a person wanting to, this isn't even about that, but there's nothing wrong with a person wanting to look a certain way or take care of themselves, whatever it is. It's not about that want. It is about when we outsource what is right for us to other things. So, rightly or wrongly, 80s, 90s, I don't know if diet started before the 80s. Someone can tell me, I'm sure. Starting to manipulate how we want to look. And the diet industry came along and it said, you need to do this, you need to do that, da 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 da. And we started to listen and we started to follow it. We followed these rules. I think one for me was no carbs after 5 o'clock in the evening, which doesn't really work when you exercise. But anyway, that was a learning. The Cambridge diet, the cabbage diet, the Slimming Worlds and the Weight Watchers of this world. I don't mean to poo-poo them. I'm just giving them examples of places that we go to outsource what it should be that we're eating. Now, GLP-1s have come into the market and a phrase food noise has come in, which we're probably all getting our heads around what that means. Maybe the first time you've ever heard someone say it, but in some circles it's used all the time, like it's common knowledge. And actually there is a process that goes on in the body. And I will say that I'm not a scientist. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not really, am I qualified to talk about it? Well, there's hormones, right, in the body. Many of them reproductive hormones for men and for women, sleep hormones, stress hormones, all sorts of things. Well, there's one for appetite. And it's ghrelin and leptin. Now, apologies. Please don't. I don't know which way around these are. I'm going to say today that ghrelin is the hormone that allows you to feel hungry, and leptin is the hormone that allows you to feel full. Or it could be the other way around. Apologies. The point is that these things are happening in the body quite naturally, telling us when we're hungry, when we should be seeking out food, and when we've had enough, and when it's time to stop. And it's not just diet culture actually that is ignored us. When it comes to the fullness one, is often overridden when we're younger because we're encouraged to finish everything that's on our plate. Now, some of us might grow up and it doesn't have any effect on us whatsoever, and we're like, just eat what I want to eat. but some of us, it may be, they may feel compelled to finish what's on the plate despite what the body is telling us. And it's that ignoring, that's more the issue, and not being aware. Now, you might accuse me of being too self-aware or listening to the body too much, and there is definitely balance to be had, because we can go from one extreme to another. But to just really be aware of hunger and fullness cues is just, like, it doesn't cost you anything, um, but also it's really useful, and it allows someone to get in touch with themselves. And a bit like meditation, I guess, in a way, with meditation, you're meant to come into yourself, become a bit more introspective, be aware of your body, how it feels. And that's the same in this example. I guess what I'm doing is encouraging you to consider your own body, your own feelings, your own thoughts, your own wellness. Horrible word. Um, and just to sort of acknowledge yourself and be like, oh, what do I need? What do I like? In fact, only in the last 24 hours has a client reached out to me. We had a conversation about food and using a diet, using an app to track what she was eating, and then and I was asking, is it is it to take care of herself, or is it to lose weight? And in the end, my advice to her was, in the end, was to get in touch with herself. Like, what environment does she like to eat in? Does she like to eat with people? Does she like to eat on her own? What kind of things does she like to cook? Does she rather be cooked for, as in she'd like to go out for dinner? What are the things that you like making? What are the things that are easy? What are the things that are hard? Like, just knowing those things about yourself. Like, you might say to me, well, how have I got the time to notice that? But honestly, it's so invaluable for taking care of yourself, but also your own self-esteem. And it allows you to become in touch with what your body wants and needs. And that in itself is empowering, I think. You're entitled to disagree with me, obviously, and I'm only sharing like my experience, my professional experience. But yeah, so that was that example of ignoring ourselves, and why we've learned, like, what's the information about that? Why have we learned to ignore ourselves? Now, another place where we as humans tend to do this is around ill health. Now, we could talk about the common cold and being able to just push through and go to work anyway. I mean, COVID had a bit to answer for in allowing people to maybe not do that so much. But it still is seen as a bit of a weakness. You still get that friend, oh, and I do it too, where I'm like, I never get colds. I never get colds. It's annoying to hear, isn't it? Anyway, one health thing that I would like to talk about today and share is around long-term health conditions that involve pain. And the one I'm thinking of is osteoarthritis. I have talked about this before. I probably will not stop talking about it. And it is something that I have worked with many people on, and worked in an environment of a lot of professionalism and about supporting people with osteoarthritis. I did some work through the Nuffield Health. And living with a long-term condition can be it's very drawn out, and there are many stages and there are many chapters, and you don't find an immediate solution. There isn't just something that you can go and buy that will fix it. There are a plethora of things. I guess the part that I want to focus in on today is that if someone has been diagnosed with osteoarthritis, or they just suspect that they might have it, the overarching theme is, well, motion is lotion, right? You just need to get on with it. You just need to keep moving. Now, that isn't bad advice, but it can't be carte blanche to everyone. We can't all follow that rule because we have varying degrees of osteoarthritis and various ways in which its symptoms show up. And unfortunately, with osteoarthritis, there is no pill that you can take that just gets rid of it. The only thing that literally physically gets rid of osteoarthritis from the body, well, a particular joint, is a total replacement, knee or hip, are the common ones. So what it means is we can't, anyone living with osteoarthritis, there is a waiting list, and there is also a period of time in which you have to age before you can even get on that waiting list. Now, if you are young, there are certain circumstances that will change that, broadly speaking. And so you've got, I don't know, 10, 20 years, right, of living with pain in some way. And what often happens is people will, or might initially try just to live with it and carry on as they are. Okay. At some point, that begins to fail. It might not be an epic drop off a cliff fail, but it will begin to fail. And people start to adjust their lives and make it smaller. Don't go out for a walk so often with friends, whatever it might be, to just make things a little bit smaller. Let your partner help you. Maybe the partner takes the dog out more often than you do. Just the small things. And then we can, after a while, we can become really demoralized about that situation and really fed up with it. So we start to look for solutions. Now, sometimes those solutions are nutritional ones. Sometimes people swear by a range of different supplements. Some people might get caught up in collagen somewhere along the line, and they'll throw everything at it and try and make the situation as best as they can. And that includes exercise. So people are like, well, I just need to keep moving. So I'll go to 5 exercise classes in a week and I'll do because the human reaction is to think, well, I'll put everything in and then I'll get a great result out of it. The more I put in, the more I get out. And in this case, it's not necessarily true. And quite often when people living with, I'm talking about osteoarthritis pain, but it can lead out into other things as well. Then they'll go hard at exercise because they think it's the solution. And then that can cause more pain in itself. It doesn't mean to say it's more damage at the joint, but it can be uncomfortable from doing that amount of exercise, in which case you can become demoralized again, or maybe you try a different type of exercise or you try a different trainer, but still with this intention of trying to get maximum impact out of it. And in reality, what actually needs to happen is when you're working with pain, is to work within your pain capacity for a period of time, 3, 4, 6 weeks. Start to get used to that movement, that smaller range of movement than you would expect of yourself. And as time goes on and your body becomes used to this new stimulus in your life, that maybe you were able to do a bit more and then maybe a bit more. And this is a projected thing. This is 3 months, 6 months, 12 months and beyond. This is continuous. And this is the hard bit because we just want to fix now. And I get that, totally get that. It's a very human thing to want. But actually what is kinder and more compassionate in the long run is to take small steps that you can do with where you are right now. Practitioners refer to it as meeting someone where they are, and you can meet yourself where you are. Do a small thing and then expand the small thing. Keep doing small things, but from here they'll look like a big thing, but you take the little small things and then it'll only be a small leap to get there. And that's really important. And in exercise, you really do that by listening to your body. There's a phrase, an acronym, DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness. Any kind of new activity, new stimulus to the body or an overload will stimulate this reaction, and that is the soreness that you get in muscles. Often people experience it after doing an intense weekend of gardening or DIY. So just to be really aware that what your body is telling you, the small things that it's telling you, are really important, do have value, and it is worth listening to them. So, which leads me on, let me just check if I missed anything out. No. Which leads me on to my final talking point, which is often the answer starts inside rather than outside. Now, I'm going to give you a quirky example. Well, I don't know, like many people, I guess, this isn't too much information, but I was, a couple of years ago, I was getting loads of heartburn, like every single day. Or, well, it started off just often. I was like, God, I'm not that old. Like, should this really be happening? Is my body failing me? What's going on? And I literally had Gaviscon on my weekly shop. I couldn't go to bed without swigging a bit of Gaviscon. And I did the things, I went on ChatGPT, I explored all the different foods. Tried to see if there was a trigger food. I think I had a GP appointment where I kind of asked about it. Oh, on my repeat prescription, I can take omeprazole, which is for acid reflux stuff. So I did that for a month. I went through many things to try for myself to think, oh, is it this? Is it that? And then in the end, I was just like, this just can't be right. This just can't be. I'm doing this every day. I don't know anyone else in my friendship group, in my family, that is swigging Gaviscon every single night. And I take medication I take antihistamines every night. I've got various allergies. And what was the other thing? I take a medication for ulcerative colitis, and I take something for my asthma at night. I popped all three, and then I was, I don't know, 5-10 minutes later, I was swigging a bit of Gaviscon. So I had to take all those three at night, and then the Gaviscon, and then get into bed. And I was like, why is this heartburn getting worse? Why? Like, what is this about? And no one could just give me a definitive answer. And I thought I'd gone through everything. And then I was like, hang on a minute, let me just read the packet of the drugs that I'm taking. No one suggested it to me. I just thought to myself, it's probably the only thing that I haven't tried. And I don't know about anyone else who's on long-term medication. You might read the packet once and then you never look back at it. And I've been taking this medication for years, especially the one for ulcerative colitis, been on it for a decade. And as I was reading these packets, it was like, don't take with heartburn medication, don't take with Gaviscon, basically. I was like, duh. So really what I'm saying is the answer came from me. I knew my life better than any doctor did, better than my mum did. Sorry, mum. Love you. It was my circumstance. And I was able to it seems like a stupid amount of time, doesn't it? Read it and was like, since then, happy to say, moments of heartburn, but nothing like what it was. It was all cleared up. So I guess what I'm really just trying to say is that you actually probably know yourself very well. And if you allow yourself to just think about yourself, think of yourself in a way that isn't necessarily your judgy voice, criticizing you and demanding more, but just your sort of maybe slightly more curious, playful voice, might actually have some solutions or might actually be trying to tell you something. Now, I guess what I would suggest off the back of today, if you've been listening to the whole thing, which I really hope you have, and I hope it's been useful, is someone said to me once, you need to date yourself, Rachel. What are you talking about? Date myself. Hello. Now, it could be, honestly, give it a try. Just be open-minded, give it a try. Maybe go to the cinema by yourself. If you can, eat out by yourself. I don't know that I can, but some people do. Maybe go for a walk in the countryside or by the seaside. Maybe write in a journal if that feels natural and comfortable for you. Maybe you're a crafter. Maybe in those moments of knitting, wood making, clay making, those creative things, in those creative processes, maybe there is some moments there where you'll let your thoughts come naturally and flowing, and just see what you think about yourself, see what you like, see what you don't like, and just give yourself that time, because I think that's what a lot of the wellness industry is beginning to say, is just give yourself time to consider yourself. Now, I'm wrapping up. This is me done with my session for today. There will be another one in 2 weeks. I haven't yet decided on the title. And if you would like to come along and listen, you can put it in your diary. It's Thursdays at 11 a.m. And I will have a way of you signing up to my email list soon. Or you can just reach out to me in the comments of social media. If you do have my email address already somehow, please email me and ask. And yeah, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, whatever you're up to, and see you soon, I guess.